Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt completely obsessed with someone, but deep down you weren't happy? Hi, my name is Matusz Hanidziar, and the topic of this video is anxious, avoidant, secure. This is how your partners reveal your true attachment style. Robert sat across from me, frustrated and exhausted. I just don't get it, he said. I feel obsessed with her. She's incredible in bed, but outside of that, it's like I don't even exist. And yet I can't stop thinking about her. His girlfriend was deeply avoidant. No emotional intimacy, no affection outside of bed, just a firm wall he couldn't break through. The more distant she was, the more desperate he felt. But then he told me about his previous relationship. She adored me, she was all over me, it was perfect, right? But I felt trapped, like I couldn't breathe. And then I started noticing things. Her teeth weren't perfect, she could dress a little better. He laughed bitterly. I basically found reasons to push her away. And then he mentioned another relationship, a marriage that lasted over 10 years. That one was different, he said. I didn't feel anxious, I didn't feel avoidant, I just lived. It felt easy. So, what was happening here? Did Robert's attachment style change over time? Was he anxious, avoidant, or something else entirely? Here is the truth. Your attachment style is not fixed, and today I will explain why. Let us talk about three truths about the attachment. The truth about attachment number one: your attachment style changes over time. Think about it. When you were a child, how you attached to your caregivers shaped your expectations of love. But those expectations weren't set in stone, they evolved. Every single experience of love, rejection, warmth, or neglect changed the way you approached relationships from then onward. Let's say, as a child, you had a parent who was inconsistent, sometimes present, sometimes emotionally distant. You learned to crave their attention and became hyper aware of their moods, developing an anxious attachment. But then later in life, you fell deeply in love with someone who was consistent, reliable, and emotionally available. Over time, without even realizing it, you started feeling secure. You stopped questioning if love would be there tomorrow. You simply trusted it. But now, imagine the opposite scenario. You grew up in a stable, loving home where your parents made you feel safe. But later, you experienced a brutal betrayal, a partner who cheated, ghosted you, or made you feel like you weren't enough. That kind of heartbreak can shake your foundation and make you wary of love. You might start distancing yourself, telling yourself you don't need anyone, when in reality you're just scared of getting hurt again. This is why attachment styles aren't labels that define you for life. They are fluid. They shift with your experiences, your relationships, and even your own self awareness. If you have ever thought, I'll always be anxious in love, or I always push people away, I want you to pause for a second. Those aren't personality traits, they are learned responses, and anything that is learned can be unlearned. Now, if you find yourself feeling anxious or stuck in a relationship, know that you are not alone. My hypnotherapy practice and relationship coaching have helped many people heal and become secure. If this resonates with you, you can book a free clarity call with me, and you can find the link in the description below. The truth about attachment number two: your attachment style changes with different partners. Now, here is the kicker: your attachment style doesn't exist in vacuum. It's not you, it's how you react to the people you are surrounded by. Robert felt anxious with his avoidant girlfriend because she triggered his fear of abandonment. But with his ex, the one who adored him, he felt suffocated and started pushing her away. Why? Because she triggered something else in him, a fear of being trapped. Imagine it like this: Your attachment style is like a mirror, reflecting what is happening in your emotional world at any given time. When someone pulls away, you may feel panic and chase them, thinking that if you can just get them to come closer, you'll feel safe again. But if someone comes too close, too fast, you might feel overwhelmed and push them away, believing that space will bring back your sense of control. This is why one relationship can make you feel incredibly secure while another brings out your worst fears. It's not that your partner creates your attachment style, they simply activate what is already inside of you. If you have an unhealed wound around abandonment, you will likely feel anxious with a distant partner. If you have unresolved fears about losing independence, you might feel suffocated with an overly affectionate partner. And here is the crucial part. If you are anxious in one relationship, it doesn't mean you'll always be anxious in all of them. If you are avoidant with one person, it doesn't mean you can't be secure with another. The key is understanding what's being triggered within you and then healing it. A helpful way to look at this is through the concept of emotional resonance. Certain partners will fit the emotional patterns you developed earlier in life. They will recreate familiar dynamics, whether healthy or not. But just because someone triggers you doesn't mean you are doomed to repeat old patterns. Awareness is the first step to change. When Robert realized this, it was like a flip switch. He stopped blaming himself for being anxious and started seeing his reactions as clues. Instead of asking, "What is wrong with me?" he started asking, "What is this partner bringing up in me and how can I heal it?" Now, if this is resonating with you so far, please take a second to subscribe to this channel and share this with someone who need to hear it. Thank you very much. And the truth about attachment number 3, there are actually only 2 attachment styles. Now, we often hear about 4 attachment styles: secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. But there is a radical perspective. There are actually only 2: secure and insecure. Think of it this way: secure attachment is like standing firmly on solid ground. You trust that the earth beneath you will hold you up, so you don't constantly check if it's still there. You move freely, confidently, and without fear. That's how secure people experience love. They don't question if they are lovable, they don't analyze every text message or withdraw at the first sign of closeness. Love just feels natural. Now, insecurity, that's like standing on shaky ground. You never know when the floor might collapse, so you are always bracing yourself for impact. You might clutch onto anything that seems stable, anxious attachment, or you might refuse to trust the ground at all and step back just in case. Avoid an attachment. But in reality, both reactions stem from the same core fear: the belief that love is not stable, that at any moment it could disappear or become unsafe. This is why anxious and avoidant attachment aren't really opposites. They are two sides of the same coin. One person anxiously holds on fearing abandonment, the other withdraws fearing engulfment. But the core issue is the same. They both lack a sense of deep security in relationships. They both question love's reliability. So the real distinction isn't between anxious, avoidant, or disorganized. It's between feeling secure in love or feeling insecure about it. And here is the most powerful realization: insecurity is not a life sentence. If your attachment style isn't fixed, that means you can change it. Just as your experiences shape your insecurity, new experiences can help you develop security. Through self awareness, healing, and the right tools, you can learn to trust love, to feel safe in connection, and to experience relationships from a place of calm rather than fear. So, if you have ever thought, I'm just an anxious person, or I'll always push people away, let me tell you, no, you won't. Change is possible. Becoming secure is possible. And it starts with recognizing that your attachment style isn't who you are. It is just a pattern you learned. And patterns, they can be unlearned. So, what happened to Robert? Through our work together, Robert realized his struggle wasn't about his current relationship. It wasn't even about his exes. It was about the lessons he learned in childhood about love. And once we worked on that, on healing the root cause, he gradually stopped feeling anxious. And here is where it gets really interesting. When he stopped being anxious, his avoidant partner stopped being attractive to him. Why? Because she had fulfilled her purpose in his life. Do you believe that people come into our lives to teach us something? Well, I do. And once Robert learned his lesson, he moved on. A few months later, he sent me a message. He told me that he was in the best relationship of his life. You probably wouldn't even recognize me, he wrote. Everything feels different now. Was it me who changed him? Was it some magical technique? No, it was him. It was his courage to face the real reason behind his struggles and to take action. So, what do you think? Have you noticed your attachment style shifts in different relationships? Please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching.